Well, welcome back everyone. It's been quite a while since the last video I did. Lots of changes underway. One of the big ones is I'm just about to move out of this place into a slightly larger premises. So there's a little bit moving around. At the moment it's quite a mess in here as usual, but we're slowly getting things out, and hopefully over the next few days we'll be pretty much down there working. Lots of things have changed since the last few videos. I did mention, I think in the past, I was planning on going to some plastic cabinets. So I'll go over that in a second as to where we are with that. One of the things I wanted to do was the frames on them. I had started painting them, and then I decided that that wasn't going to be good enough and I wanted to go to powder coating. So as you can see here, these have just been powder coated earlier today. Now I'm working with a home-built gun and a home-built oven, so there's still a few kinks that I'm sort of getting around here. The finish isn't quite where I want it to be, so I have quite a few changes to make. The gun's not quite 100%, so I'm not really going to cover that here. I'm probably going to circle around later and we'll do a video specifically on the guns. Most places around the world you can get relatively cheap guns. We're pretty limited in what we can get here. In the way of low-cost stuff. You can get some decent second-hand deals occasionally, but we do have the Eastwood dual voltage gun, which still isn't really that cheap over here. It will do probably better than what I've got at the moment, but at this stage I want to try and keep working on the gun that I've built, and just to improve its performance a little bit better, hopefully a little less wastage when it comes to the powder that's not quite sticking. You'll notice in videos in future how much powder doesn't actually stick, but the gun at the moment is working pretty well. It's to the point where I'm happy to actually use it. I did a lot of my testing with waste powder that I got from one of my previous jobs, but once I got the gun working with that, I switched over. I've been using this just like a gloss black or a satin black from Eastwood Hot Coat, just to basically give myself a bit of a baseline as to what I want to work with. Still, it's better than the can painted or using a spray gun like I was doing on earlier ones. It's going to be a little bit hardier, so it's going to do for now, but I will continue to work on that gun, and when I'm happy with it we'll circle around and I'll do a video on that. I'll quickly give a rundown of where I am with the plastic cabinets, and then we'll go around and I'll show you the oven that I built. Obviously they're a bit too big to use in like a second-hand stove oven style thing that you'd find in the kitchen. So I've had to build something for that, and we'll go over that in a second, but I just want to quickly and let me show you where we are with this. This one here is just waiting on the door. I'm getting some doors fabbed up, and probably I'll end up going to a molded plastic door. But that's where we are with that. They all come with, you can see in there, a closed loop system. They all come with a closed loop system, LED lighting, and it's the same footprint as my mid-size stainless cabinet, but it's just in the plastic there. It's a little bit simpler, easier for me to turn around, less work, and I can have pretty much anyone help me with these. There's very little in the way of welding. Actually nothing anymore is welded. The gutter on the side was, but I've gone to an extruded gutter with some end caps in it now. So now they no longer have any welding on them. The plumbing's pretty simple, wiring's pretty simple, so that just opens it up for the type of people I can have helping me out. I don't need anyone who knows how to weld or knows how to plumb or wire or anything. It's to the point now where I can actually start turning them around a lot faster. So that's where we are with those. I'll come back and probably do a proper rundown on those when I've got one that's actually working. We can go through and see the sort of finishes we get out of it, and just a few of the features that I built into that. But before that, I just want to quickly walk through here, and this is the powder coating oven. I think in the past I might have mentioned I was going to turn it into or rebuild it as an extractor when I wanted to do a little bit more sandblasting, but it sat around for a while and I changed my mind. It's a good shape, Now I've used a couple of old barbecues. I've taken the burners out of, and I've taken the, I need a bit of light on there, the lighting's not very good. There we go. The temperature gauge out of it. It's double skinned. So this is just one standard sheet of electro galv that I've cut and folded and welded into place, and had to cut another piece off the barbecue. I just kind of ran out of that one sheet and I didn't want to cut into another one. But works pretty well. And it holds the temperature really, really nicely, actually, which I was a bit surprised about. I thought it was going to be a lot more work in getting it around that 200 Celsius, or was that 400 Fahrenheit? Yeah, about 400 Fahrenheit. It's got this little vent on the top, so we can use that to help sort of regulate the temperature. If it starts popping up a little high, you can just open it up, or it can turn off one of the burners. There's 4 in there, just LPG burners. I had to modify the rail there to accept extra burners. It's usually quite a lot longer. I cut it short, and at that point it was only going to fit 2 burners, this one and this one, and I just added extra holes in there so I could mount the valving for the extra burners. And then you can see in there, it's just the 4 burners there. So I found it only really needs 3. If I'm running 3 on the lowest setting, it kind of holds temperature really, really nicely. The outside, it does have insulation in it. I don't know how long it's going to hold up for, but as you can see, I've just tacked it together for now. If I have to pull it apart and replace it with better stuff later, and having just tacked it up also means that it allows for a bit of expansion in there. Usually you'd rivet them, I guess, but this one's welded, and yeah, I thought if I just tacked it every now and then, I might just have to fix one from time to time. But at this stage, it's done what it's needed. I'm going to change the way the racking works in it. I'm going to make some more rigid racks so I can fit all of the components to a single frame in at any one time, and then that way I can put a frame together, clean it all up, apply the powder, and then put the whole lot into the oven at the same time. And that'll help with the process of manufacturing these in a bit more of a serial production style manner, rather than the one-off hand builds that I've been doing in the past. So yeah, that's where I am with that. I do want to do a little bit more powder coating, and when I'm a little bit happier with the results that I'm getting on the gun, I'll do a video on the gun. And once I've had a lot more work done with the gun and I'm happy with where we are with that, I'll start doing some more stuff on I'll start doing some more stuff on ovens, I think, and see whether or not we can come up with some easy ways of building large ovens that are low cost. So that's where we are for now. I actually have a bit of an issue with the camera. That's where we are now. Like I say, I'll be moving into the next location, our new premises, over the next couple of weeks. We'll come back and do more powder coating stuff. I've actually run out of the black. I'm going to get some more in the next few days, and then next week we'll probably do a bit more of a rundown of my process for that, and maybe do a rundown of the gun. Hopefully, if I can make it a bit simpler and easier to build, we might do something like the ebook thing, or I might do an online series. I'm not sure what I'll do with that. And the earlier guns, I'll put a video up to the first gun that I did a while back. I'll link that in the end of this video, just as a bit of a recap of where I was. I've modified a couple of things on that original gun. Most of it works the same. I've just changed the power supply for it, and I've also changed the nozzle for it. But other than that, the mechanics of it are pretty much the same. So that'll be linked in the end of the video, and then we'll come back to that a little bit later, and I'll discuss some of the things that I've done while I was developing it, getting it to this point. I haven't done much on it over the past couple of years. It was just a bit of a rush in the last month or so, around all the other work that I've been doing. Just because I did want to start powder coating these frames for the new cabinets, rather than painting them, just because the durability on the powder coat is much better than just on the paint that I was using. Paint scratch is easy, and if it's thin in any place, being around water, it just starts rusting far too early. So powder coating is much better, and I've gotten to the point now, it's not perfect, but it's good enough for what I'm doing. And yeah, so now I can start powder coating the frames for these. That's one of the last things I've got to do, other than getting the door mounts made up. But after that, these are to the point where I can pretty much start knocking them out much faster. There's no more development left to be done on them, and I can actually start focusing on the stuff that I used to do on this channel. I've got heaps more things that I've learned on the Vapour blasters, and I'm going to start doing a few extra videos and putting up some more content on that. Maybe even doing a few rundowns on other builds that I've seen online. Lots of good ideas, a few things that I changed a little, so we might cover some of that as well. But other than that, now that we're caught up with the development on most of the products that I've been looking into, I'm going to start getting back into the regular style of content after a long hiatus. So thanks for bearing with me. It's a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, and a little bit rambly. I'm a little bit out of practice. So this one's just pretty much shot on my video. I'm going to put it straight onto YouTube, no editing or anything. So a little bit clunky, a little bit rough, but like I say, I'm a bit rusty. And once I've gotten on top of this and we're in the new premises, I'm going to try and put in a little bit more effort and go back to the regular style of editing, and try and make things a little bit more concise. But as always, welcome back and thanks for watching.